Well, good evening, everybody. It is a perfect day for show number 73 of the Jimmy Palumbo Show. Back once again live here from the Omni in Wyckoff, New Jersey. Undefeated media getting involved here. Of course, I got Doug Freeman behind my one glass. And of course, we have a very special behind the glass from downtown Matawan. Ladies and gentlemen, uninjured, unaging Dave Sturcio from Chop Sports Media coming in to do my show with a major injury to his thumb. He just was working on the studio doing something, and he cut himself.
I didn't. No. Let's not get it twisted. There was no cutting myself. I was stabbed by Chris Gucci.
Okay, he was stabbed by the other co-owner of Chop Sports, which is fine because he's a Yankee fan. They're both Yankee fans, but they're both Packer and Cowboy fans. Now, listen, here's what's pathetic. Before we got on the air, I was concerned about Dave. He was bleeding. He was injured. And you know what he said? He goes, when it happened, the first thing I said to myself was, am I going to be able to lift weights? And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm worried about use of your thumb for the rest of your life. Will you be able to pick up your children? Will you be able to post on your phone, which you're on 24/7? But no, Dave Sturcio's like, will I be able to lift? And that's where your priorities are with your lifting ability.
I feel like I'm doing well in that area. I'm doing better in that area. So I don't want to like lose progress and stuff. So it's like, I'm trying not to be a fat fuck like you.
Well, that's true. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. But we are here live with show number 73. If I could ask Doug for just a little more love in here, a little louder so I can hear Dave a little better. As it has been a while since I've been in the studio here. That's good. That's good. All right. Now, of course, I'm wearing my Pine Tar Tavern shirt from my buddy Tommy Plinio, who will eventually be an advertiser on my show. Or I'm just going to get him to just give me money on the side anyway, just because I'm wearing the Pine Tar Tavern in Forked River. You got to go check this place out. For all my Woodbridge people, it's like Riffies, but nicer and bigger and better with better food. So if you take like Riffies and completely eliminate everything about Riffies and then make it a nice place with beautiful TVs and good food and bartenders that are good looking, that's the Pine Tar Tavern, owned by my buddy Tommy. Go in there and tell him Jimmy Palumbo sent you. He's not an advertiser. It's just me. I'm wearing his shirt. I told him I would. So this is show number 73 of the Jimmy Palumbo Show. That's right. Jimmy Palumbo here live with you. Now, I could have gone with a guy who played for the Giants who's a Hall of Famer, and his name was Arnie Weinmester, defensive tackle. He only played 4 years. And me and Chris Gucci mentioned this last week. The NFL Hall of Fame is funny. Like, I think 1 year I was eligible. I never even played in the NFL. Because the NFL, if you make like a really good tackle on the 4 o'clock game, like one really nice hit, you'll hear guys like, oh, he's definitely going to get votes for the Hall of Fame. This guy only played 4 years, and he's in the Hall of Fame. I heard he was a great player. He played in a couple different leagues, those early leagues back then when they were like, became leagues, whatever. He's in the Hall of Fame. I know nothing about him. I could have gone with John Hanna, offensive line of Patriots, who many say was the best offensive lineman ever, and so on and so forth. But I didn't. I went with something that is actually dear to Dave's heart as well. I had to go with the 73 Knicks. And why did I go with the 73 Knicks? It's because that's the last time our beloved New York Knickerbockers won the NBA championship, which was 49 years ago. Now, I actually said, you know what? I got to do some research. I was 8 years old, but I remember it because my uncles were in our basement, our den there on Grand Avenue, having some beers, watching the Knicks. They beat the Lakers, who they lost to in the finals in 72. Like, nobody realizes how good the Knicks were from like 68 to 75. They were just a very good team. They lost to the Lakers in 72. In 73, there was an aging Wilt Chamberlain, and it was last year, and an injured Jerry West. But the Knicks had Frazier, DeBusschere, Earl Monroe, Willis Reed, Bill Bradley, Phil Jackson, who wasn't that good. He was a journeyman. Come in there and get some rebounds. They also had Hawthorne Wingo and Henry Bibby, which I just love the name Hawthorne Wingo. If Hawthorne Wingo's in the NBA now, he'd be making like $17 million a year. They were 57
which is like league minimum at this point.
Yeah, and in the first round, they beat the Baltimore Bullets. which was the old Monroe team. They beat them 4-1. They in the conference finals, they beat Boston 4-3, which was great. We always hate the Celtics, but the Knicks did lose game 1, so they came back, won 3 in a row, but then they lost game 2 in a row. I mean, came back and lost game 5 and 6, and then they won in game 7. So they were up 3-1 and lost to. If I was a Knicks fan then, as I am now, and they were up 3-1 and didn't close it out. Number one, at the Boston Garden, they lost. Then you come back to the Garden and forget, and you're losing. It would have drove me nuts. They blew them out in game 7. And then in the finals, the Knicks lost game 1, which would have drove me nuts. And then the games were close. And then pretty much Frazier, DeBusschere, and Monroe were like 3 of the top players in the league, and they just dominated. They swept after that. 4-1. So my beloved New York Knicks, with an aging Wilt Chamberlain who never played in the NBA after that again, his numbers are through the roof. He doesn't get the credit I think he deserves. But the game back then, where some of the power forwards were 5'6", so I get all that argument. But he went to the ABA as a coach, but he never showed up. He was signing books. He was like LeBron James, and but he was a great player. Jerry West got hurt. That's why the Knicks blew him out. So that's number 73. I'm dedicating to the 73 Knicks now. Sturge, who do you got?
I'm an obvious one when it comes to this. One of the best guards, if not the best guard in National Football League history, and that's Mr. Larry Allen of the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. He was of the Great Wall of Dallas.
Great player.
He has set records. I mean, now guys are bigger, stronger, faster, so things are getting skewed a little bit. But at one point, he had the most reps at 225 on a combine. So I think he had like 30-something reps of 225, which if you want to put it into context, if you see the size of me, I could probably do about 14 on a good day. So that's double me.
Right, but not with your thumb, you couldn't.
No, now I can't lift at all.
Combine, and you would drop 8 places like Thibodeau and the other guy in the Giants now. But wait a minute now, wasn't Larry Allen, was he one of the draft picks through the Herschel Walker deal?
He was.
Right. Which I still
greatest deal in all of sports.
Only reason why, what's great about Jerry Jones, he made one great move. He got rid of Herschel, and he got all these players that won him a Super Bowl. But since then, it has been all rest of the NFL. That was an incredible draft.
They actually, you bring up Jerry Jones today. They did the old, poll of the most valuable franchises in the Cowboys.
$7 billion, right?
$7.64 billion Cowboys. He bought him for like a bag of balls.
But you know what I got to add? Okay, you know what's more frustrating? I have 2 frustrations with that. Well, so the New York Yankees got to be hovering near there, I'm sure.
I mean, I think they're in the 5s, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, but what's the worst thing about when they do this team ownership value? Aren't the Knicks like 3? It's like the Knicks
I know, and they have 0. Like when you say 0 to show for it, at least Dallas has 5 Super Bowls, or at least 3 under the Jones regime. Ever.
They sell the most jerseys. Every town has Cowboy fans, and the New York Knicks have no fans after you cross the Delaware, and the Knicks haven't won anything in 49 years, and they're worth like $7 billion.
Right.
But yes, the Cowboys. Everybody. That's fair. So that's it. All right, you're gonna go with Larry Allen, Hall of Famer, one of the best linemen of all time. I get it. So, well, of course, we got to discuss. In 1 week, my Patreon subscribers have held steady. I had 5 last week, and we are still at 5 here from the Army.
Can I? Let's play a game. Can I name them?
You might be able to. Well, you've met 2 of them.
I was gonna. Oh wow! All right. Well, then all right. So
Madison's dad,
mom, and my sister. Joe, Janine. That's 3.
Janine did not sign up for Patreon.
Really? Well, it's because she sponsors your show, so she don't need to do Patreon.
I can't throw her under the bus. But like Craig should do it because Craig owns the place too, and he don't even listen to the show. He's true. Too cool for me. And we don't play softball. If we were still playing softball, Craig I would definitely not. I'd bat him 9th just to bust his balls. You don't give me $3 a month, you bat 9th. That's how it works. No one even from my softball team even signed.
Wow! After all that, after everything you've done for them, the least they could do is throw $3 your way for your show.
$3 a month. I mean, come on. Even my brother.
$18 for Netflix.
My brother Frank has it. My cousin John is the same age as me. like it's like people think, oh, you come from a very small family, just you and your sister and your mom. I'm gonna start telling people that. Yeah, my mom raised us both in Cologne. It was just me and my sister. So, my sister's probably looking at this and laughing. I don't know. I even got no one in the comments. You know what's great? I think what's going to happen is I'm going to be in the witness protection program. So if you get caught doing something, you come on my show, and no one will find you.
Nobody's going to see it.
That's it. If you come on my show, and the government be like, "Hey, Jimmy, listen, guy did a bunch of terrible things. He killed 7 mobsters. We're going to have him as a guest on your show every week. You okay with that?" I'm like, absolutely, no problem. No one will ever find out where he is. You could be in Wyckoff. You could be in downtown Mawa, Matawan. They'll search high and low and not find anybody. But please also subscribe to my Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and all that nonsense. I would love to be able to get that higher increased. I'm working on that as we speak. So let's see. Now, Dave, as you well know, this next segment is sponsored by Absolute Eyewear. It's called Jimmy's Weight Condition. We're calling it a condition now at this point.
It's like a disease.
I love it. Dave here dabbles his injured hand. This segment is I'm the only guy who has the balls to take a sponsor and have them sponsor something that is really at this point we're getting close to the Mendoza line. I lost about 18 pounds, but I've been hovering at that 18-pound mark now for about 4 months, which is pathetic. And it's sponsored by Absolute Eyewear, 42 Main Street. That's right, Woodbridge, New Jersey, getting involved. 732-326-3937. Craig and Janine, who are not Patreon subscribers, family-owned, brother and sister. They're opticians. They're the best. Craig's my right center fielder on my softball team. Janine's good friend. She's awesome. They got everything's over there. They got full service prescription eyewear, sunglasses, safety glasses, everything. Glasses for the kids. Getting involved here. Contacts. Everything's done on site. They got a doctor there. You check your eyes out. I'm desperately trying to get Chris Gucci there because he can't see a damn thing. I don't think Doug here can see anything. You know what?
He sure as shit didn't see my hand.
Right, that's another thing. That should be the ad. Are you tired of slicing your friend's hand up?
Unbelievable.
It's time for you to get glasses. But you know what? If I had like an internship thing here, one of the questions I would ask at the interview would be like, can you see well? If you can see well, we don't need you here. We need people that can't see at all. And then they don't go to Absolute Eyewear, which is where you should go. Please go to Absolute Eyewear, 732-326-3937. They got all kinds of things. They got discounts, $100 off if you mention my show, a complete pair of prescription sunglasses. Open 5 days a week. They're closed Wednesday and Sunday now. Mr. Sturcho, why are they closed on Sunday?
On Sunday because of the New York Football Giants.
Okay, now why are they closed on Wednesday?
Because they're too busy losing in softball.
Oh, yes, you got that one right. I know it was a trick question there. They're open 5 days a week. Craig and Janine, everything's done on premises. They're good people. And I still think they have the best slogan, which I came up with. When you leave there, you don't feel like a jerk off. And I think every retailer, I think most locations should do that. Even car dealerships, like a Lexus dealership on Route 17, should be like, when you leave here, you won't feel like a jerk off. I should do that ad for every single car dealership.
It's like they're driving and they're like, wow, you know what? I don't feel like a jerk off. Perfect. That's actually
hey, honey, this is a really nice car. And you know what? I don't feel like a jerk off. That's great. That's perfect. Great, especially for the interweb. And of course, they have Ray-Ban Coach, Ralph Lauren, Jimmy Choo. That's Dave's favorite. Mm-hmm. Silhouette, Michael Kors, Vogue, Maui Jim, and Costa Del Mar. And recently, they have some of Charles Oakley's sunglasses laying around. They also carry Oakley. That's my Bob Shepard, which I haven't done in a while. It's good to do that. So go check it out now. They are sponsoring my weight situation. Well, all right. Last week, I came in at 198.9. The rule is I can't go over 200 or the segment ends. Okay. All right. Palumbo gets on the scale this week after having a horrific week in the city, visiting some friends, had an LBI all weekend, not cooking at home. It's been hot. And when it's hot, what do? You drink beer. Dave, you know it well, but you go to the gym 5 times a week. My name
That's
is
why
Jim.
I do it.
That's why you do it. I know. We're going to talk about your podcast in a second. And I came in at 199.1. Now, the reason why this is getting concerning is because in literally 1 month and 2 days, I have to be at 192 for the start of the Rutgers-Boston College game, which means I got to drive down the shore on Friday to do your show at 11 o'clock for the official weigh-in announcement. I fell dreadfully short. I made it for the first one, April 1st. I fell dreadfully short the next stand-up show I had. So I need to actually get to 192. So I got a month to lose 7 pounds. Now, at this point, we are pushing it. I need a big week. I'm just a fat bastard. I didn't play pickleball this week, so I'm sloppy. And so I have to really get it going. But this Jimmy Palumbo gaining weight is sponsored by Absolute Eyewear. He can see very well, but he's a fat bastard.
He can see himself gaining weight.
Yes. Now, everybody, please check out Dave Sturcio here has his own podcast, which the pilot episode aired last week. Dave, what's the exact title? Sit down with Dave.
It's called a sit down with Sturch.
A sit down with Sturch. It's basically, listen, he does the Chop Sports Media Show every day with Chris Gucci, but this is just him talking about himself. It's a little bit. He's gonna talk about sports. He'll talk about life, what's going on, dad stuff. Probably throw in cowboy stuff in the middle of the season, but mostly just like him, what's going on. It's kind of his version of the Jimmy Palumbo Show, but it's he covered. I love that look he just gave. But it's very good. You talked about some cool stuff that I did not know about. Your some personal losses in your life with your friends and stuff, and the wrestling stuff. I didn't know a lot of that, believe it or not. And please check it out. He's got a really interesting past, Mr. Sturcio here, and I think you're going to like the show. Your voice sounds good. The show sounds good. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So go check it out, everyone. Now, we can talk about the Yankees. Yesterday's game annoyed my soul because everybody's like, oh, Clay Holmes, he only gave up 1 run in the last 9 years. I'm like, yeah, but it's not getting tight yet. And then all of a sudden, now I feel like he blows a save every week, but it's not true. That was a terrible loss. Terrible loss yesterday. You can't give up 3 runs in a night.
You just can't lose to the Royals. They're a poverty franchise at this point. Royals. It's rough. It's
terrible. Listen, the 2 losses to the Mets, they did win the series, so that's okay. The 2 losses to the Mets were brutal. But you know what? It was cool. Listen, the Mets have magic, man. You just feel it.
Yeah.
Anybody out there who thinks the Mets are going to collapse, they're wrong. You just get a feeling the Mets think they can win every game, and they're on a hot streak. They're doing great. They got a bigger lead now, this, that, and the other thing. Mets are playing well, and the games were close. It was fun to watch. I watched it in a bar in the city Thursday night, and there are no Yankee fans in New York City anymore. It is all M-E-T-S, Mets. Like all of a sudden the Yankees.
They're still little brother, though. They're still little brother.
They're a little brother, but listen, the Mets, not that they have their number. The Mets are hot. What are you going to tell you? That's the way it is. The Mets have a good ball club.
And they're getting DeGrom back tomorrow.
Yeah, they got DeGrom. God forbid if he starts pitching well. Scherzer, one of the best pitchers in the league, maybe ever, if you ask me. But DeGrom, I think we got to see what he's doing. We got to make sure his injuries are okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to talk a little bit about Aaron Judge. Look, the guy bet on himself, and he's at the craps table, and the number 7 hasn't came out all season long. So he is just rolling in it. I've always said all he has to do is just bring Lindor to any of the meetings and say, hey, he's getting $341 million. What are we looking at? Maybe $500-600 million? Because I'm batting 300. I'm hitting bombs. He's on pace. He's on pace to break Maris's record like clean by 7. But he might go one of those 2 weeks you don't hit one, and then all of a sudden he's on pace to hit 41 home runs. But he's got like 42 home runs. It's unbelievable. He's having the year of his life. There's nothing more to be said. Gallo, of course, Gallo just got signed by the Knicks. He'll be their power forward, which that'll fit right in for me. Gallo, down low. Yes, and it counts. And the Knicks want to talk it over as Gallo is making contact with the rim, which he didn't do with the baseball. Gallo is the worst hitter I've ever seen at the major league level. I just don't understand it.
Do you realize that Aaron Judge now officially has more home runs than Gallo has hits? That's an official stat.
That's you know what it is though? I want to play Major League Baseball. I really do. I called the Yankees yesterday and said, listen, I want to play Major League Baseball. They said, who are you? I said, I'm Jimmy Palumbo on the Jimmy Palumbo Show. And they said, okay. They said, well, can you hit Major League pitching? I said, nah, not really. But I noticed you got a guy there that can't hit it either. So why can't I, why don't we go in the cages right now? Right. I'll definitely foul it off. He just never makes contact. I think he'll be gone by tomorrow, actually. Trading deadline. Also,
there's actually, believe it or not, Jimmy, there's people that are like in his market. Like there are people that are actually calling about Gallo, which I don't know. Maybe you can chalk this up to the whole
Maybe I think it's the Gallo Wine Company. Is it Gallo Wine they're looking for?
No, it's actual MLB franchises calling about Joey Gallo, and I'm thinking that maybe he has the New York yips. You know what I mean? They can't play in the big spot, can't play in the city. I don't know, but it's
teams want him. A lot of teams want that 211 batting average. So lifetime. Listen. If I owned a major league team and there was a guy batting 161, I'd be like, we got to get this guy.
We got to get him as a guest.
He's a different.
You're talking about him all the time. You got to get him as a guest.
The other guy. Now listen. Finally, truly, the guy who got me this week. I do a segment called "What Did Rizzo Do This Week?" I am the lone wolf here. I am the lone wolf. Everybody loves Rizzo. I think he stinks. But I was wrong this week.
We all love him.
I was wrong this week. He was 6 for 16. He hit 2 home runs, a couple of big ones. So this was a good week for him. He averaged one for 3 after averaging 1 for 5, 1 for 6 for the last month. I've been doing this segment. Rizzo was good this week, but I still stand by when we talk after the season, we will all be in agreement that Jimmy Palumbo, the lone wolf of sports talk, was right. Rizzo has been scamming everyone. He stinks. Anyway, he's batting 228. I think Chris Chambliss was way better. It's not even close, actually. So that's it. I want a quick shout out to Bill Russell. When you win any championship 11 times and you're the starting center, you have to. That's it. He always, he was tough against the Knicks, and Bill Russell passed away. Humanitarian for the league, the whole bit. 11-time champ, Boston Celtics. God bless. Now this week, I had a crazy week. I did stand up. There's a new comedy club up in Scarsdale, New York, called the B-Side Comedy Club, which your friend and mine, Joe Matarese, opened up. It's a cute little comedy club, part of a restaurant, but it's got its own room. It's small, only holds 60 people. It's intimate stage. You're right on top of people. I think that's a cool thing. I went up there. It's only about a half hour for me. I went over to check it out, and Joe was kind enough to put me right up on stage. I went on third or fourth, and I had a good set. Did 10 minutes. I was happy about that. I was fired up. The air conditioner didn't work, so it was 110 degrees in there, which, believe it or not, Joe's getting that fixed. But the funny thing was, became part of the show. How hot could it be in here? And so I went up, did well. The other comedians did well. Some of the headliner was funny as hell. Can't think of his name right now, which is horrible on me. But a little shout out to Joe Matarese and the B-Side Comedy Club. Lisa Lampanelli showed up. She didn't do stand-up. She showed up. Me and her were talking about Artie Lang. I didn't realize she retired from comedy. I was embarrassed. I was like, Lisa, what do you mean you don't do stand-up anymore? You're great. She's
funny too, Jimmy,
she's very I discussed it on Howard Stern. I discussed it publicly. She literally told me, go Google it and find out all the reasons why. But she does work with comedians. She does workshops. They get together once a week and go over material, which I may do that with her. I think that's cool as hell. But I got some comments here. My buddy Vinny Callahan saying, finally, the Mets love, and Judge is going to be on the Mets next year. Yeah, he might be. I mean, listen, Cohen
live on LinkedIn.
If he goes to the Mets, he's gonna want $500 million. I think if he goes to the Mets, he's gonna get $550 or $600 million, some crazy deal, and Cohen's just gonna write the check. You know what? It really depends, though, what his wife wants, because I think Stevie, his wife says you got to get Judge, and if he comes up the driveway and only offered $440, and the Yankees offer 450, then listen, if Uncle Stevie's wife wants Judge will be making chicken cacciatore for them next season every night, because that's what she wants. She'll get. Now, I was down in this weekend. I was down in LBI. I think LBI is the most crowded place in America right now. I think it's up at Bangladesh and LBI are neck and neck for how many people. It's an island. It's 18 miles long, and I remember going there as a kid, and it was crowded. But now it is a metropolis. It looks like Dubai. There's 8-story houses there. There's monsters. If you go to the left of the bridge, there's $10 million homes. If you go to the right, literally, if you step outside of a house, you end up in the outdoor showers at LBI. Like you just have to shower with other people because your shower's up against the next guy. There's like 7 million homes to the right of the bridge. There's just I've never seen that many people in a short town. I'm again dead set, right in the middle of the summer. But I think LBI's got to call for time and just say no more doing anything. Like if I worked in a building department, I'd be like, no, you can't rebuild. No. I know you want to build an extension. I know you want that outdoor shower. The answer is no. Why? Because we have too many people here in the summer months. Now come back in October and you could build an airport there, a landing strip for all I care. But right now, June, July, and August, I know people love LBI. I'm an exit 98 guy because it's like hedging your bet. Traffic, you deal with North Jersey traffic, but then you get to exit 98, you get off, you have options. Bradley Beach, Belmar, Manasquan, Little Point Pleasant. You can even go a little bit down Route 35 there. You run into your Spring Lakes and Seagirt and Bay Heads. But exit 163, you got to watch. There's all kinds of, you got to go past Seaside exit, the whole thing. But it's cool. Once you're there, LBI is nice. If you just stay inside your house and don't deal with, it's not a quiet vacation. I'll leave it at that. But I was down there with my daughter and her three friends. So 4 13-year-olds bouncing off the walls. I will say that kids like gummy bears, not the ones with marijuana in them, just general gummy bear stuff.
To specify.
Yes, because they eat gummy bear with their Life cereal. Gummy bear goes in their ice cream. Now, ice cream and gummy bears to me is 2 shots in the ball. Yeah, well, what is that? All of a sudden, you're getting older when they look at you and go I don't want sprinkles on my ice cream. Like, when did sprinkles become like the Knicks of desserts? I don't understand. It's like, now you got to put gummy bears and they put jawbreakers in the thing and cracking teeth. What is going on here?
Ask your niece about that. Madison works at an ice cream place. I'm sure she's all over the toppings of the day.
It's just embarrassing. I don't get it. And then one kid wanted a pliable. I mean, we're down in LBI. I got burned. I'm thinking to myself, I almost said to her, you either drink beer with me or we're not getting a pliable. That's your options. We're not. Next thing you know, we're getting her pliable. I don't even know what that stuff is. It looks like granola. It looks like, I don't even know. Those pliable things look like, some oats and grain place, married an ice cream shop.
Too healthy for me.
Fruit stand. I don't get it. Anyway, of course, I was just eating burgers with those big Thumans dogs. I had in 4 days, I had 11 hot dogs. I mean, what am I at Coney Island now? It's embarrassing. We went on I was also down there I got to give a shout out to more people that are not on my Patreon. Victoria Palumbo, my cousin John, his daughter graduated UMass, and she's working for a digital media place, which is cool. We got Drew Palumbo, which is my cousin Joey's youngest kid, also your intern Madison's sister. She graduated high school. She's going to Bloomsburg University, where the great Hank Heidacker graduated. You can Google him. That's funny to my family and friends right there. And then there's Lauren Palumbo, which is Victoria's younger sister. She graduated high school, and she's going to UConn. She's a Husky. So they had a little barbecue there for them to celebrate. Everybody got to see the whole family, a bunch of Palumbos. There was a bunch of non-Jimmy Palumbo Show Patreon people hanging out there, except for my sister, and God bless. So that was cool. I also, there was a comedy show. My good buddy Chris Monty was doing a comedy show at Joe Pop's last night. So I went there. What is this going to be like? And it was about 20 minutes for the show, and there wasn't all that many people there. So he's like, Jimmy, I'd give you some time here, but there's nobody here. Get out of here. I'm getting paid anyway. Just go. But I'm hoping that a few people showed up for that. Some of those old bars and Buckaloos and Joe Pops and Daddy O's and all those old places I used to haunt back in the day. But, look, LBI, it is what it is. It's a good time if you have a house that you can just stay inside. My buddy Brian Shevlin showed up at the place, and he's a senior lawyer, head lawyer for Pernod Ricard, and they represent, Chivas and Absolute and Jameson and Jefferson. It's all these great boozes. So he dropped me off a little stash I put in my trunk. Fine. He mocked me out because I like Chivas scotch, and he gave me a bottle of Chivas. He's like, no one under 70 drinks this. I'm like, I do. So we did that, which is good to see him. We had a lot of laughs just sitting there. And that's it. So we had a good time down the shore. The other thing is I'm having an issue with my fish. Now, I have this fish in a bowl. It's a betta fish. These things are supposed to die in 2 months, but they don't.
They only last for 2 months?
Well, fish supposed to die. It's a little thing I got from my daughter. But this journeyman, this Brett Gardner of betta fish is just going 5 1/3. Every time we turn around, this fish is in the 6th, scattering 11 hits. But the problem is, I can't. If I'm going to be gone for 3 or 4 days, I got to do something with the fish. So, like my next door neighbor, and you can't transport the fish, and it's just in a bowl, a pretty big bowl though.
Yeah.
So I knocked on my neighbor's door. I'm like, hey, you want to watch my fish? And I was making jokes like, hey, you can talk to it. I said, I got a list of lyrics. He likes to be sung to every morning. She took the fish. She was like, yeah, I guess so. She took it out of my hands, all aggravated. I don't even know if she's feeding the thing. The fish is still there. But I realized that
it's not there anymore, Jimmy. I hate to break it to you.
I said, if it dies, don't replace it. And you know what? I love the fish's name is Sullivan. It's a beautiful pink fish, but it's not really even that pretty. It's like an aging veteran. It just looks like, I don't know. It's like the Al Habrowski of who's that pitcher on the Royals? Was that his name? I'm going way back.
Oh, that's way before me.
It's well before anybody's time. But just, you know what?
Wait, that thing's gonna last like 20 years.
No way.
Fish I had a goldfish from like a carnival, lasted like 15 years. Just you wait.
This one just looks like an aging veteran here of the fish world. We'll see. I don't even know if I'll be around 15 years. Should I put it in my will if I die? Who's going to take my fish?
Yeah, absolutely.
Another annoying thing, I had to do laundry. Now I got where I'm living now. Some shared laundry there, and is there anything worse when you start laundry and you put it in and it starts and you walk away? You got to come back a half hour and then transfer it to the dryer. It's been going on since the beginning of time. And you come back after a half hour and there's letters on the front of the machine that say like IXOV, which means like something's horrifically wrong. I tried it again, came back. Meanwhile, I had to leave to head down the shore. I had to head down the shore with a sack full of wet clothes in a basket. I was more aggravated. I didn't know, were they cleaned yet? At what level were they? What a mess this is. Thank God the place where I was staying had their own washer and dryer, but I had to throw wet clothes in. And these new washing machines were like, oh, we're going to sense. They have a sensor to find out how much clothes. But it was like 140 pounds worth of clothes. Put it in. Then I put the wrong setting on the dryer. So basically, it took me to do one load of wash, 7.5 hours to do one load of wash. That was the real time, including the 2-hour drive down to LBI. So I finally got my wash done, which I was as happy as a clam with that. That house I'm staying in, we got to discuss this. I know you hate the cable company, Dave, because you guys have cable issues down there in your region.
Oh, yeah, Optimum. Everybody at Optimum can burn in hell, and I wouldn't really care.
Well, that's fine. But listen, here's something worse. When you go to someone's house and they say, oh, we got rid of the cable. We just have the Fire Stick and we have all the apps. You just go with your apps. Here's what happens. It's the 5th inning of the Yankee game before you're able to figure out what it is. You got your phone. You're trying to shove your phone in. I was like, I just want regular cable. with every channel, and I go up and down. This app thing, you got to switch from the Yes Network over to ESPN, that app. You're going, and then there's passwords, and you get shit on your phone saying,
It's terrible.
we notice you're in a different region of the world watching. Yes, that's me. What a complete, you want to talk about feeling like a jerk off. Anytime you use apps on your TV, I got a smart TV, I got all the ones, you're a jerk off. I don't care what anybody says. Pay the fucking cable bill for the people, so the human beings of America. Anybody over 40 can't operate anything.
I had to set up. My father-in-law is one of the biggest Yankee fans. He's in his 70s, right? So he's like, Dave, how do I watch the Yankees? And I'm like, just flip it over to the to the app. And he's like, the what? So like he had no. I had to set it up for him, but like and now he's all set for good. But like, go to like a brand new fan. The whole thing the Yankees have done this year is awful what they did, because it's like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do in between innings? Don't you usually like to flip around? I do.
You flip around. You can't.
Now
do that.
You can't
flip around. Now, if you're at someone else's house and you flip around, next thing you know, you're watching highlights from like the '79 Knicks. I'm watching Ray Williams and Sugar Ray Richardson run around. It's inhuman. You find yourself like, and then I watch the game on my phone, which everybody's like, oh, that's cool. Like, no, it's not. I want to sit with my drink and look forward. I want to look up towards a 70-inch screen and enjoy my sports entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I pay $4,000 a month for my cable bill, which I can't afford, because I get I want to get the ACC game. I want to get that NC State, North Carolina replay game.
Oh, but you have to get the ACC Plus to get this one over here. So that's on the smart app.
I just keep on adding things. You know what I mean?
Stupid.
And you gotta have Cinemax, because they always have those shitty movies on late at night where everybody's half naked. You still gotta get that. That never goes away. That's why they call it Skinemax.
Skinemax.
No, but just this whole app thing is just bad enough. Now, like on the ESPN app on my phone, they don't tell you. They have a thing called the preview of the game. You ever seen this?
No.
They will tell you what color underwear Joey Gallo's wearing. They will tell you what time Girardi or Boone or got to the ballpark and what car he drove to get there. But they don't tell you what network the game is on. They'll tell you weather. I mean, I'm sitting there the relative humidity for the Yankee game, and I'm like, that's fine, but where is it on? Is it on Peacock? Is it on Amazon? Is it on Apple Plus? I know why don't they just tell you, like, right at the top? Go to our app to get to some box score information, but this is where the game will be. But I read the paper, thank God. You look in the Post, but no one reads the paper but me. I'm convinced only 8 people read the paper.
Well, I know you and Johnny are 2 of them, so I don't know who other. My father just canceled not too long ago.
But I did hear, though, that Chris Gucci read the paper, and you guys, you do sports talk and you don't read the paper.
Because it's like tabloids at this point, man.
No, there's good stuff in there. You got it wrong. For what you do for the sports, you got to know the pulse of the city getting involved. But you're a Cowboy fan. But for the Yankee stuff is good. Anyway, listen, the bottom line is I am now promoting not cutting the cord. It should be called an aggravation tax.
Plug it back in.
The government should come out and say, listen, we tried this, but we aggravated 51% of the American public. So we are now telling everyone to not cut the cord. And how about you got to find the Fire Stick? It's in the back of the. Is it HDMI 5, HDMI 1? It's a nightmare. Complete bullshit.
I'm with
you. No TV is smart. It should be called dumb TV. I wanted to get one of those old like furniture televisions, the tube with the tube in the back. 247 911. We are live. I want to hear the.
That just said it.
Yeah. Instead, I'm going.
Grandma had one in her kitchen.
And then there's networks. There's networks that they say the free TV gives you on the Fire Stick. They're networks that, like, I mean, do I really need to watch Beretta on a Saturday afternoon? Or what is this? I don't want to. I'm not watching a 2-hour Columbo special from 1974 that aired on CBS.
Coming up next, Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah, I mean, a young Angela Lansbury getting involved here, chipping in 25. No, by the way, Murder, She Wrote aired for like. The ratings were she averaged 40 million an episode, and she was on the air for 55 years.
The only reason why I know what Murder, She Wrote is because it was on before wrestling when I was a kid. So like I would always catch the last 3 minutes of the case or whatever the hell the whole show was. But that's the only reason why I knew that show existed.
It just to me makes me absolutely crazy. That's why I can sit here and be like, oh, but Jimmy, the cable bill was $225 a month. I'm like, yeah, well, that's how it works. You when you go to a good Italian deli, you pay $13.99 for a pound of Brussels sprouts. So why not you have to pay for the cable? When you go to, you ever see some of these delis now when they sell those good fresh tomatoes, you buy 3 of them to make a salad, and she's like, that'll be $27.99. You're like, what? I just get some tomatoes here. What the hell's going on with this? Oh my God. It just makes me insane. I'm promoting, I'm being, you know what? James Dolan, Cablevision. Yes, you had it right. Have people have cable. No one wants to do this app crap. It's crazy.
But if you have Comcast, you don't get MSG.
Well, that should be another rule. The rule is in your town, you're not allowed to not allow anybody to not watch the game they want to watch. Or what you have to do is from your cable box. You know, they have those voice things on the remote. Mm-hmm. I think from your cable box, you should be able to just say, I want to watch the Yankee Royals. And what happens is it doesn't go to the app. The game just comes on. And then a little thing should come up on the bottom and says, you're being charged $8 to watch this game. Click yes. That's it. So let me pay for everything. Because you know what? Maybe tomorrow night I don't watch the game. I don't know what channel it's on.
You save $8.
Anything. Like when you watch a boxing match on a Saturday night, $100, that's seamless with a cable station. Seamless.
Mm-hmm.
You try to watch the Yankee Royal game down the shore, and next thing you know, you're getting a rash. It's my money. And then I have to watch on my little television, okay? I have to watch Clay Holmes, whatever his name is, Holmes. I'm going to start calling him Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes comes in for the Yankees with an ERA of .0009 and gets shelled in the 9th inning. So I'm here to promote that. The other thing is we got to mention one of our fine advertisers, cornholelevel.com. And here's why. It's 20% off if you put in JP Sports or Chop Sports. That's a huge discount right there. But I will tell you, I was at my daughter and friends went to an escape room in LBI, and outside they had cornhole boards.
Was that the picture you sent us?
Yeah, flat on the ground. It was the most pathetic situation. And I was like, you know what?
They need love.
I carry around the cornhole levels in my pocket just in case.
Who doesn't at this point?
Yeah, you should. Everyone should have it. You got to have these in case you're stupid enough to play cornhole. You got to make sure they're level. And my buddy Mike Caprio, my second baseman, who came in for Mitch Fishman, those of you scoring at home, he developed this awesome product at cornholelevel.com where it goes in the hole and you could do it up and down. Here it is right here. Now that we're live, this is it. This is what you get. You get 2 of these, and they're in red and blue and blah, 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 and you hook it over the hole. I love these demonstrations. I feel like we're doing HGTV. You hook it on the thing, and then you go up, down, around, this way, that way, everything. It's the perfect thing. As a matter of fact, even for Dave's injured thumb, if he hooked it on his thumb right now, it'll tell you how much he's bleeding.
It's no longer level. I feel like it's shorter than the other
how
one.
Much he's got bad thumbs.
I'm hurt. You understand? Right I'm muscling. I'm muscling through this episode. Like I am very injured right now.
I love that. I mean, listen. If he's gonna faint as soon as we're done with the episode.
I'm losing blood here.
He's losing blood. He's going down. But he's got to hang in. I feel like we're watching the Titanic now. So this is it. Cornholelevel.com. This is what it is. Go check it out. It's $19.95. It's awesome. It levels your cornhole thing. Because I just saw this and I realized, oh my God, this is just completely awful. The other thing I need to discuss is have you been watching any TV shows at all?
Not really. I got into the what was it, the list on, or there's something list on Amazon Prime, but other than that, I haven't really had any time. It's been a crazy time over here, so I really don't get a chance to watch.
I watched The Old Man.
Oh, I heard good things about that. I heard great things about that.
I caught the end of that. Better Call Saul still getting involved. I love that show. That's in its last season. The other thing is my daughter's been watching Stranger Things.
Yes.
At 13.
This season's rough. I mean, for a 13-year-old, I mean, there's some scenes in there where I was just like, holy shit.
But all her friends watch it, so I did one of those.
She's got to join the party. Yeah.
Like Dad, I need one. So I let her watch it, but I always kind of make sure I'm nearby when any's scary. And she shuts it off sometimes when it gets scary. I have to explain to her it's all fake, you know. I explained to her like Stranger Things is just like beer league in terms of, it's all fake. It's not all real, Ralph Macchio's not that good of a softball player.
Then that means
Ralph's
neither is
supposed to
Jimmy
come on,
Palumbo.
that's not true. I played short in beer league. How pathetic is that? But Stranger Things is just a wacky show. A big shout out to Cara Buono, who was Artie Lang's girlfriend in beer league. She's on the show. My daughter couldn't believe it, so I texted her.
Wait, which role?
She plays the mom, one of the kids' moms.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay, every time I look at her, I'm like, man, she looks familiar.
She's familiar. That's
and then I should have said, punch me in the back harder.
Yeah, that's it. Harder. That's it. See that? One thing about Dave Sturcio, in his mind, I'm a legend to him. This is like him talking. It's like
they tell you,
I'm Roger Staubach in your mind.
They tell you not to meet your heroes. You don't understand. Like Facebook has this ability to see on this day at any point, like for your past posts, and just recently. I think it was like the beginning of July when there was or the end of June where it was like softball season still. Like I must have posted in like 2012 or 13.
Oh,
I was like, it's time to play some softball. I'm about to channel my inner Johnny Trino. And like 9 years later, you meet this piece of shit, and then he's just not as good of a person in real life.
You'll always be disappointed.
Oh, never meet your heroes, man. I was so let down.
Listen, I used to get base hits all the time. Now I hit choppers the second. The guy checks the stick, fires across the diamond, one away. I mean, that's not true. I started to hit the ball a little bit. Came around late in the season this year a little bit. But the glove came back a little bit, playing a little hot shot there.
Flashing a little leather.
So, the problem is you can't see anymore as well as you want to do. But
gotta go to absolute eyewear.
Stranger Things is odd. Have you watched any of the El Capitan show?
Yes. What a fantastic,
are you digging it?
Fantastic show that is so far. I think I'm one behind. I think I've finished 3. I think they have 4 already done. So I got to watch the 4th still. But
I haven't. I watched about 5 minutes of it, and I said I gotta watch this when they're all available, and I can just go through.
They're really well done.
It's from the same Michael Jordan documentary people, right?
I mean, I don't know, but it's very similar. I want to say, I don't know if it's actually the same producers that did the Jordan.
I gotta watch the whole thing because
it's great. I mean, look, if you're a Yankee fan, you're gonna love it. Like you're gonna love it.
I watched almost tons of games. Jeter's whole career. But that whole I hated the Michael Jordan documentary, other than because I'm a Knicks fan, and I always thought it was biased. It just didn't. I like the documentaries that really go both ways.
Funny? You know what's funny? I as a Knicks fan like yourself, in the 90s it was brutal because we got there in the 1 year he was gone. Right, we're in the championship when he's not even playing in the league. And you hate Michael Jordan growing up because all he's doing is dropping double nickel at the Garden. Right, we're just getting crushed. But after that documentary came out and after the Last Dance and everything, I was like, I might be the biggest Michael Jordan fan of all time now. I just liked his whole yo, I'm better than you. I'm about to show you, and I'm going to do it.
I thought he came off. He looked glassy-eyed sitting in that chair with his bourbon and the cigar. He looked a
talking about a guy with no cares in the world.
Tears.
Yeah, because he took that personally.
It seems like none of his teammates liked him.
No, but you know what though? But I'm sure they like the paychecks, and I'm sure they like the recognition of the 92 through 2000 Bulls when they were legitimate.
And how about the
contenders
GM who they mocked? They just mocked out that little fat GM there, and all he did was make huge. He made huge trades. He was such a key man and all that. I was like, wait a minute. Everybody's talking about Jordan. What about, an aging Bill Cartwright? He was able to guard Ewing because he played with him for 2 years. That was a big deal in the beginning. I just thought Jordan can't. Listen, I know what? I'm a bitter Knick fan. That was just hard to. It would like me watching.
Can I spoil one thing from the whatchamacall, the Captain series? Just one scene that was like, Jeter's always been my favorite player. I've only owned 2 Yankees jerseys, like actual official jerseys. One being Jeter, one now being Judge. I bought it 3 years ago because I figured Judge is the future, blah blah blah. And I needed a new jersey. The Jeter one was getting all torn up. So
to me, it's too soon to buy a Judge jersey.
I thought so too, but I was like, you know what? I got a feeling about this kid, and so far I'm right, and just hopefully he stays. So there's one moment where he said David Wells was on the mound. and somebody hit a long fly ball and like in between left and center, and there was just a misplay and they dropped it, right? And like David Wells threw his hands up like he was just like, come on, and Jeter said, and mouth, like, we don't do that shit around here. Like told David Wells, like, don't even think about like big league one of my guys. And it was like, dude, like I said, Jeter has always been that guy to me, just Mr. Cool and composed, but at the same time, he'll snatch your soul, when you least expect it. I love it so far. It's really great.
I used to tell the joke, Jeter, what did Jeter have? 3,200 hits, something like that? 3,100?
Yeah, definitely three, more than three.
My father, when he was alive, was always classic on being late to the game on great players, right? So, I'm watching the game with my dad. Jeter probably had 2,200 hits, 2,300 hits. Jeter rips a base hit down the line. And my father goes, hey, Jimmy, you know what? This Jeter is a good hitter. Really not.
He's going to be something someday. You watch.
You're talking about Derek Jeter? He's got 2,400 hits.
Three-time World Series, four-time World Series winner, Derek Jeter?
Five-time World Series winner.
Right.
He actually sucks now. He's older now. He was good. What are you talking about? He's a good hitter. My dad discovered Derek Jeter at 2,400 hits. He knew. He saw it. He had a good feeling about Jeter.
After man. Speaking of, it's funny. Oh, damn. It would have been a good video to clip up either you or Artie now that he's like kind of somewhat back on social media, but like the one thing where he's like, and here comes Captain Jeter to his typical hip hop music. Dude,
right.
Dude, I love that shit.
Great. I know, it's so funny. You're a big fan.
Look at the flexion of the triceps.
I know.
Such a great line, man.
What's great about Beer League? Only 17 people saw it, but the passion, the 17 people.
No, we're a rabid fan base. All 8 of us.
We're going to be, and I've been teasing this. We will be doing some stuff shortly. There's a possibility of some Beer League things going on. We just have to get some legalities done. And I'm going to have Artie on the show. Those of you scoring at home, Artie's going to come on the show. Bust my balls. He almost did it a couple weeks ago, but he had some things going on. He couldn't do it. We always wish Artie well. We hope he comes back. And if I know Ralph Macchio is 2 guys, if you're listening, are Ralph Macchio and Chris DiStefano. Ralph said he would do my podcast. I've been waiting. I've been kind. I don't want to pressure him. But he now says, hey, I got a lot of other podcasts to do. I'm like, you're on Cobra Kai. You got to go.
I got the biggest show on Netflix. No big deal.
Yeah, but he'll do it. I love Ralph. He's been very kind to me. He'll come on the show as Chris DiStefano, who inspired me to do a podcast because he was he's a very successful social media podcaster and TV star and comedian now. So I'm going to have him on my show and some other guests. And in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be previewing the Rutgers McScarlet Knights, who had their Big Ten, preview coming in. They open up at Boston College on September 3rd. But more importantly, I have to be 192 pounds. I'm going to try to get Greg Schiano involved in that. I have some people that can get to him.
Just keep chopping, Jimmy.
Well, listen, I think at a press conference, like in 2 weeks when they start practicing, someone should say, hey, Greg, big game, September 3rd, Boston College. Do you think Jimmy Palumbo will be at 192 before that? And I think he's got to answer that. I'm doing the show.
He's out there giving 110%. He really is.
He's from Wyckoff, and I want to hear Greg Schiano's talk on it.
So your neighbors, that's cool.
Yeah, maybe he'll say like, well, Jimmy's been struggling and he's been hovering at 199. I think it's legitimate.
It's funny.
And I think I'm also, just to bust your balls right before the season, I'm going to see if I can have David Deal on my show.
No, you heard this. You heard the story, huh?
The story. That story made me. I giggle about. Those of you who don't know, a lineman on the Giants, David Deal. Dave here was an intern at the Giants, even though he was a Cowboy fan, which is right away. I know the management at the Giants stinks. I would say, I'm so sorry.
It's your boy. Great. It's your boy.
You can't. I know.
He called me.
I've yelled at him many times. But David Deal, and Dave was a young rookie hotshot, probably cocky fucking jerk off, wrestler guy. Yeah, you had all that.
No, this was all pre-wrestling.
So. And David, and you thought David Deal was a nobody, which he was probably at the time. And he like threw a water bottle at you and shook water and got all over the camera.
He sprayed, the constant water that's being like sprayed, like almost like a garden hose. And he just like, I'm like, God, like I had like equipment on me, and I'm like,
I
one
love
pair
it.
of shorts. I'm
it.
like, fuck.
He's probably the nicest guy in the world.
Oh,
We
I'm
had
sure
one
he
bad
is.
moment with you, and that's it.
That's it. And then
So
forever.
maybe I'll have
That's
you and him on the show at the same time. Maybe we can discuss this.
probably bigger than him now at this point.
And probably, yeah. You ever notice that some of these two things happen to ex linemen, offense or defense? They either look like Bone Crusher Smith or Trevor Burbick, or they all look like they can play D-back now in the NFL. Have you ever noticed that?
Have you seen like Sean
Who's
O'Hara?
this little guy?
Have you seen Sean O'Hara?
Sean O'Hara looks like
Great
basketball.
shape.
Down low, Palumbo.
Great shape, but doesn't look like he was a former center in the NFL. No way.
Not at all. I ran into Jim Burt. Jim Burt looks like a little throw to Devontae Adams. Oh, Burt on a tackle. Nice play. 3rd and 2. The reason why I don't talk about the Giants too much, speaking of that, and we're going to wrap up.
Stink. That's why.
Is that the Giants, I can't get it. I can get into the Rutgers because the Rutgers stinks, and I can get into the little train that could stuff and I can't get into pre-NFL season talk for the team that I love because the Giants have been so shitty. Worst team in the league last 5 years by far, I think. And I just want to watch the games. I'm tired of hearing about Dable and Danny Dimes and my favorite player, Kadarius Toney. My two favorite players are Giancarlo Stanton and Kadarius Toney, which I find hysterical.
Two big.
I made the prediction. So here it is. It's Stanton's their best player. Rizzo stinks, and Kadarius Toney, if he doesn't get hurt, will be the Giants' best player. He was open on every play last year, but he just gets hurt every 4 minutes. I just can't get into these articles in the paper. The Lion has improved. The draft pick that got drafted in the 5th round. You know what? A week after Labor Day, the Giants will come on. I'll watch the game, and I'll know if they stink or not. It's that simple.
So this is the 2022 version of Jimmy Stinks list is coming back. So
we're going to do the Stinks list, which will be now. We went midway through the Stinks list. We never did it from the beginning. So I'm going to the first week of right before after the game, we're going to do the last year's Stink list final, which I have somewhere, and then we're going to do maybe a preseason Stink list.
You got ESPN Power Rankings, and then you got Jimmy's Stinks list right around the same.
That's it. I think it should be heavily. I think they should ask the coach of the Giants, hey, listen, you made – I can tell you right now, the Giants and Jets are going to make the early Stinks list.
I like the Jets this year.
And I do extensive research. My research consists of opening up the New York Post, looking at the standings and just go, who stinks? And you guys say, no, they got some guy, Joe Julio Schmulio, Rex Smith guy, and he's a really good receiver and nobody cares about. Anyway, Dave, I thank you for coming on my show. I want to thank Absolute Eyewear for getting involved. I want to thank cornholelevel.com. Go to that and it's a really cool gadget. You got to do it. I hope Chris Gucci had some little death in the family there, which stinks. I hope he's doing okay. And he'll be back maybe next week. Or it doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. I want to put a shout out to Doug Freeman from Undefeated Media here for the first time in a while, me doing that here. And also don't forget my Patreon. I'm going to make a prediction. On my Patreon, I think I'm going to have one more next week. Now, sadly, it's going to be Vinny Callahan. He's a Met fan. I'm force-feeding him to give me $3. He's a Met fan.
That sucks because now you know. But I'll make a prediction. I'll up the ante. I'll say that you get 7 by next week.
Oh, getting involved here. I'll
tell you right now, ain't going to be me, Jimmy. Ain't going to be me.
I don't even subscribe to Chop Sports. That's because I am the liaison.
That's true. All the things you've brought to the network.
Legend. I look like Ezzard Charles at Chop Sports now. Just chipping away. I'm like 6 hits away from 3,000. I'm with the Devil Rays now. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next week with a very special guest. Take it easy, everybody. Be safe. Dave injured with the thumb.